discrete versus continuous functions. Discrete functions, big thing for discrete functions, points that are not connected. A graph that consists of points that are not connected is discrete, and a function graphed with a line or a smooth curve would give us a continuous function. And let's think about what information would give us a discrete function. This would be something that cannot have values in between. So we could think something about number of kids in a class. If I was counting the number of kids in a class, I would have like first period, second period, third period, and I would have my number of kids. But I couldn't have like second and a half period or 1 3/4 period. I only have my set periods. What information would give us a continuous function? This is where it's okay to connect all the points because we have datas in between. So we could say like water in a bucket. So we could do like at 0 seconds, 10 seconds, and 30 seconds, I could have 0 gallons, maybe half a gallon, and 2 gallons. And obviously at some point there was time in between 0 seconds and 10 seconds. So it would make sense for me to have these all connected because obviously I did pass through 5 seconds at a time. You could have 9.5 seconds. It makes sense for these to be connected. So a graph that can have values between a set of points, when it's okay to have values between the points, that would be continuous. And when you can't have values between your points, that is when it is discrete. So let's go ahead and look at another example. We've got an ice sculpting competition. Each sculpture's height was measured to make sure it was within the regulated height range of 0 to 6 feet. The measurements were as follows. Team 1 has 4 feet, Team 2 4.5 feet, Team 3 3.2 feet, Team 4 5.1, Team 5 4.8. So the first thing is I want to make a table of values showing the relation between the team and the height of their sculpture. So I've got team, and then I'm going to have the height, and I'm going to make a table for my 5 teams. So now I've got team 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Team 1, the height was 4 feet, and I'm going to put feet for my height, just so I don't have to write feet every single time. Team 2, 4.5 feet. Team 3, 3.2 feet. Team 4, 5.1 feet. And Team 5, 4.8 feet. And now I need to determine the domain and the range for the function. You could rewrite it, but remember, if I look at my table, this is kind of like x and y. X is always your domain, so these are all the values of my domain. Y is always your range, so here are all the values of my range. So I've just determined the domain and the range for the function. Domain is x, range is y. Now if we look at part C, we want to write the data as a set of ordered pairs, and then we're going to graph the data. So I already know I have my different teams. So my team is going to be my x value. Now I need to go back and get my y values. I've got 4 for team 1, 4.5 for team 2. I've got 3.2 for team 3, 5.1 for team 4, and 4.8 for team 5. So I've written my stuff as a set of ordered pairs. Now I'm going to graph it. So I go team 1, they were 4 feet tall, 2, 4.5, and hopefully you remember how to graph. 3, 3.2. Remember you got to walk before you climb. 4, 5.1, and 5 was 4.8. So now I've plotted them. And then I need to determine whether the function is discrete or continuous. And we need to think, would it make sense if I were to go through and connect these with a line? Well, if I had these connected with a line, then that would mean I could have a value right in here, which would be about 1.5, 4.5. But would that value make any sense? Well, that would be saying I have team number 1.5 with a sculpture of about 4.5 feet. That doesn't make any sense. There is no team 1.5. And if we can't have values in between, it's obviously going to be discrete because it doesn't make sense to have values in between the points. You can't have team 1.5, so it doesn't make sense to have values in between the points. And that's why it's discrete. If it would have made values to connect them, that's when it's continuous. It didn't make sense though, so we have a discrete function.